What if I told you that that uncomfortable feeling of cold feet, which you insist on blaming the weather or your age, might actually be a desperate cry for help from your heart? Most people over 60 live under a dangerous fog of misinformation, believing that poor circulation is just a cosmetic problem like varicose veins or a passing thermal discomfort, without realizing that it's the #1 early indicator that your body's central pump is losing power. A recent and alarming study revealed that ignoring these peripheral signals is the shortest path to a catastrophic cardiovascular event, such as a heart attack or stroke, transforming symptoms that would be completely treatable into irreversible medical emergencies. Today, I'm not just going to give you health tips. Together, we're going to decode your body's hidden language and identify if your cardiovascular system is silently collapsing before it's too late. To begin this vital conversation, I want you to answer me now in the comments. Do you often feel your hands or feet are cold, even on days that aren't freezing? Answer with yes or no, because your answer is crucial to what I'm about to reveal. The major problem we face today, and which may be happening in your home or to you right now, is the normalization of suffering. Thousands of elderly people believe that swelling in their ankles at the end of the day, unexplained tiredness in their legs, or coldness in their extremities are things of old age, or natural price to pay for the years lived. This belief is a deadly trap. Hemodynamic science is clear. Imagine your cardiovascular system as a house with a complex plumbing system where the heart is the main pump. When this pump begins to fail and enters a state of heart failure, it loses the necessary strength to pull blood back from the extremities or to send it with sufficient pressure. The result is what we call venous stasis or peripheral ischemia. Your body, in a desperate attempt to survive, activates the autonomic nervous system to prioritize vital organs such as the brain and kidneys, turning off the taps to the extremities. Therefore, what you see at the tips of your fingers is not just cold. It's your body sacrificing the periphery to keep the center alive. It's crucial that you understand the magnitude of this. Cardiovascular diseases remain the #1 cause of death worldwide, and heart failure is a leading cause of hospital admissions for those over 60. However, early diagnosis increases survival and quality of life by staggering percentages compared to late diagnosis. When blood pools in the legs because the heart can't pump it back, pressure in the small capillaries increases, forcing fluid out and causing edema. When oxygen doesn't reach them, tissue hypoxia occurs. All of this is mechanical, physiological, and most importantly, visible if you know where to look. I'm here today as a specialist who genuinely cares about your longevity to tell you that you don't have to accept loss of mobility or dependence as your destiny. We will look at your body's physiology without fear, understanding that every sign is an opportunity for intervention and to gain more years of life with autonomy. From now on, we're going to delve into a structured list of the 10 clearest physical signs that your circulation is compromised and your heart may be in danger. I've organized these symptoms in a logical progression, starting with the most subtle, which often go unnoticed in daily life, and moving on to the most serious and specific signs that require immediate action. I want you to pay close attention to each item, as they function like pieces of a puzzle. Having just one might be a mild warning, but the combination of two or more could indicate an advanced condition you were unaware of. Number 2 is often ignored because it seems harmless, but number 10 is the definitive sign that separates those who retain the ability to walk from those who may end up in a wheelchair. Get ready, observe your body right now, and let's begin to unravel these vital signs, starting with a sensation you've probably already felt but misinterpreted. The first sign on our list is often mistaken for the natural wear and tear of a long day, but it requires close attention, the feeling of excessive heaviness and fatigue in the legs. Think of gravity as a constant force pulling everything down, including your blood. In a young and healthy body, the heart functions as a powerful pump, and the valves in the veins act as firm steps, ensuring that blood flows back up against gravity effortlessly. However, when we begin to feel our legs heavy as lead, This is the first physiological indicator that the heart's pump is not strong enough to ensure efficient venous return. The blood flows down, but stalls halfway, generating vascular congestion that you feel as an unbearable weight, not due to muscular effort, but due to mechanical drainage failure. To distinguish this dangerous tiredness from common fatigue, you need to observe the context. Muscle fatigue improves quickly with rest, but fatigue of circulatory origin persists and often worsens at the end of the day, accompanied by an internal burning sensation. This happens due to the accumulation of lactic acid and metabolic toxins that should have been washed away by the circulation, but have become stagnant in the tissues. The practical instruction here is to monitor. If you feel this heaviness even after short walks or even at rest, your heart is working under overload. Ignoring this today may mean that soon walking will become an impossible task, as the central pump simply will not be able to overcome gravity. And this difficulty in pumping leads us directly to a thermal defense mechanism of the body that many elderly people ignore. This brings us to number 2, a symptom you might be experiencing right now while holding your phone: constantly cold hands and feet. I'm not talking about the occasional chill of a winter's day, but a persistent coldness that doesn't go away even with woolen socks. The scientific explanation for this is fascinating and frightening. When the heart realizes it can't pump blood to the entire body with the same efficiency, it goes into survival mode. The autonomic nervous system triggers peripheral vasoconstriction, meaning it narrows the blood vessels in the hands and feet to divert precious blood to where it's vital: the brain, kidneys, and the heart itself. Your extremities get cold because your body is literally sacrificing the periphery to keep the center functioning. The big problem is that most people normalize this, saying, "My circulation has always been bad," without realizing that it indicates chronic poor peripheral perfusion. To know if it's a warning sign, do the thermal comparison test. Place your hand on your abdomen or ask someone to touch your back and then your feet. If your torso is warm and your extremities are cold, it's not the weather, it's an internal sign of poor distribution. Understanding this changes everything. You stop fighting only against the external cold and start investigating the strength of your heart pump. If you value this type of knowledge that protects your longevity and want to continue receiving vital alerts like this, I invite you to click the subscription button right now. It's a quick gesture that ensures you and your family are always one step ahead of silent diseases. Now we need to talk about number 3, which is the visual evolution of the 2 previous symptoms: persistent swelling or edema in the ankles and feet. If the heaviness in the legs was due to stagnating blood, the swelling is a sign that the plumbing has started to leak. When the heart, especially the right side, cannot pump blood back effectively, the pressure inside the small capillaries in the legs increases dramatically, increased hydrostatic pressure, like an old hose under too much pressure. The vessel walls leak fluid into the surrounding tissues. This swelling is not fat. It is water retained in the intercellular spaces, a classic and undeniable sign of right heart failure or deep venous insufficiency. The way to identify if this swelling is dangerous is through the Godek's sign. Firmly press your thumb against the swollen part of your ankle or shin for 5 seconds and release. If a deep indentation remains that takes a long time to disappear, as if you had squeezed modeling clay, this indicates severe fluid retention. This means that your kidneys and heart are not able to filter and circulate body fluids. The immediate solution is to elevate your legs above heart level to help gravity. But the real solution is medical. Preventing this swelling means avoiding wounds that don't heal and extreme difficulty putting on shoes, maintaining your independence. But be aware, while swelling shows excess fluid, the next sign shows a lack of something essential for life. Number 4 is visually shocking and indicates a more advanced stage of impairment: pale, bluish, or purple skin, clinically known as cyanosis. The color of our skin, especially in the extremities, is determined by the presence of oxygen-rich blood. When circulation is so slow or blocked that oxygen-poor blood reaches the fingertips, the skin takes on a bluish or grayish hue. This is what we call tissue hypoxia. Imagine that your cells are trying to breathe, but the blood that arrives doesn't bring enough oxygen. If this persists, the tissue begins to suffer and, in extreme cases, can lead to cell death, necrosis, or gangrene. You should observe the color of your nails and lips, especially after physical exertion such as climbing a flight of stairs. If they turn bluish, it's a sign that oxygen saturation has dropped drastically because the heart couldn't meet the extra demand of exercise. This isn't something to see later. It's a sign that the transport of life to your cells is failing. Recognizing cyanosis can prevent future amputations and permanent tissue damage. And if you think these visual signs are obvious, wait until you hear the next item, which is so subtle and chronic that most doctors forget to ask, but which reveals the state of your arteries for years. We've reached the halfway point of our list with number 5, an extremely subtle sign that most men and women ignore for years or mistakenly celebrate as an aesthetic convenience: hair loss on legs and feet. It's common to hear, "That's great, I don't need to shave anymore," or "I've gotten old, the hair has fallen out." However, biology doesn't waste anything without reason. Hair follicles, the roots of your hair, are living structures that need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to maintain hair production. When arterial blood flow to the legs chronically decreases, your body makes a drastic economic decision. It cuts off the supply to non-essential structures, such as hair, to try to preserve the skin and muscles. The progressive loss of this hair, often leaving the shin completely bald and smooth, is a silent cry that cellular nutrition in that area has fallen below the critical maintenance level. This symptom is one of the most classic and neglected indicators of peripheral arterial disease, PAD. Unlike swelling, which shows problems with blood return, veins, hair loss points to a blockage in blood flow, arteries. Imagine that the road that carries food to the cells is congested or narrowed by fatty plaques and calcification. The result is that the food doesn't arrive. By ignoring this visual sign, you are allowing this arterial blockage to progress silently, increasing the risk that, in the future, not only the follicles will die, but also deeper tissues. It is a visual sign of biological drought. Where water doesn't reach, vegetation dies. In your body, where blood doesn't reach, skin appendages disappear. To identify if this is a red flag for you, observe the texture of your skin on your shins and the tops of your feet. In poor arterial circulation, the skin not only loses hair but becomes abnormally shiny, thin, and dry, with an almost stretched plastic appearance. If you notice that your feet are smooth, shiny, and cold, this is not good elderly skin, it's skin atrophy due to lack of blood. Recognizing this visual pattern allows you to seek a vascular surgeon to assess arterial flow before the obstruction becomes critical. And this logic of nutrient deficiency leads us directly to another structure that stops growing when the heart fails, and which you can test right now. Number 6 follows the same logic of resource rationing in the body: brittle and slow-growing nails. Often when we notice weak, thick toenails or nails that simply don't grow, we rush to the pharmacy to buy vitamins or antifungals, thinking it's a simple dermatological or nutritional problem. But I need you to think like a plumber of the human body now. If you are eating well, why do your fingernails grow fast and strong, while your toenails seem stagnant? The answer lies in distance. Toenails are the furthest point from the heart. If the heart's pumping pressure is weak, or if the arteries are clogged, nutrients reach them in drop by drop. This symptom reflects chronic hypoperfusion. The nail matrix, responsible for producing hard keratin, enters a dormant state due to a lack of blood fuel. The result is nails that peel, break easily, or develop opportunistic fungi that take advantage of low local immunity. Remember, the defense's white blood cells also travel through the blood. If the blood doesn't reach them, the defense doesn't reach them, and the fungus takes hold. Therefore, that stubborn fungal infection that never heals may not just be a resistant fungus, but a symptom that the biological terrain, your foot, is not receiving the means to defend and regenerate itself. The practical instruction here is to use your own hands as a control comparison. Cut your fingernails and toenails on the same day and observe them in the following weeks. If your fingernails need re-trimming while your toenails have barely changed in size, you have visible evidence of circulatory discrepancy. Use your body as a monitor of heart health. Healthy toenails mean that blood is reaching the very end with full force. If they aren't, it's time to investigate. And while the nails show a lack of nutrition, the next symptom shows that the lack of blood is beginning to shut down your communication and balance system. Number 7 is frightening because it directly affects your physical safety. Frequent numbness or tingling. You know that leg falling asleep feeling when you stay in the same position for too long? That happens because you've temporarily compressed a nerve or blood vessel. Now, imagine feeling that spontaneously while sitting on the couch or lying in bed. This indicates that the peripheral nerves in your legs and feet are suffering from transient ischemic attacks. Nerves need oxygen to conduct electricity. When circulation fails, the nerves begin to malfunction, sending erratic signals to the brain, the tingling, or simply stopping sending signals, the numbness. The relevance of this for people over 50 is critical. Numbness removes sensitivity from the soles of the feet. You stop properly feeling the ground you're walking on. This affects your proprioception mechanism, the brain's ability to know where the body is in space. The practical result is a dramatic increase in the risk of falls. Often, an elderly person falls not because they tripped, but because the brain did not receive the tactile information from the foot adjusting to the ground. Poor circulation, therefore, threatens not only your heart, but your entire bone structure through the risk of fractures from falls. To test this, regularly massage your feet and observe if the sensitivity is equal in all toes. If you notice dead areas or feel a constant tingling sensation like needles, don't ignore it. Move around, stimulate circulation, but report this to your doctor. Ischemic neuropathy is reversible in the beginning, but it can become permanent if blood flow is not restored. Maintaining sensitivity is maintaining balance and independence. Unfortunately, lack of sensitivity and blood flow creates the perfect scenario for our 8th and most dangerous symptom. Number 8 is the nightmare of any vascular physician and should be your ultimate warning sign. Slow-healing wounds, ulcers. The healing process is one of the wonders of biological engineering, but it depends 100% on logistics. To close a cut, the body needs to send truckloads of platelets, collagen cement, defense cells, and oxygen to the affected area. All of this travels through the blood. If you have poor circulation, the road is blocked. A small scratch from cutting your nail or a blister from a tight shoe doesn't receive the repair material. The wound remains open, moist, and exposed. Without immune cells reaching the site, that small injury becomes an entry point for bacteria. What begins as an innocent little wound can quickly evolve into a chronic ulcer or, in the worst-case scenario, gangrene, leading to the risk of systemic infection. For diabetics, this risk is multiplied tenfold, as excess sugar in the blood already damages the blood vessels. Evidence of low tissue regeneration capacity is a clear sign that local microcirculation is failing. Your body has lost its ability to self-repair in that extremity. The preventative solution is rigorous daily inspection. Use a mirror to look at the soles of your feet every day after showering. If you find any lesions that haven't healed within a week, that's not normal. Don't try to treat them with home remedies. Lack of blood prevents any ointment from working properly if there's no internal oxygenation. Treating circulation ensures your body can repair itself. And if we've talked about legs and feet so far, the next point will touch on a sensitive subject, often considered taboo, but which is a predictor of heart attacks years in advance. We've reached number 9, a point that demands maturity and courage to face, as it touches on intimacy, but which can literally save your life: erectile dysfunction in men and pelvic dryness or pain in women. There's a huge stigma that causes many to suffer in silence, attributing these problems solely to hormonal decline, age, or psychological stress. But modern cardiology approaches this in a much more pragmatic way. We call the pelvic region the canary in the coal mine of the cardiovascular system. In the past, miners took canaries into the mines because If toxic gas appeared, the bird would die before the humans, giving them time to escape. In your body, the arteries that supply the genitals are much thinner and more sensitive than the coronary arteries of the heart. Therefore, if they become clogged and stop functioning, it's the first clear biological warning that the entire plumbing system is beginning to fail. The science behind this phenomenon is called systemic endothelial dysfunction. Before a massive heart attack occurs, fatty plaques and arterial stiffness begin to build up in smaller blood vessels. Robust studies show that persistent problems with erection or pelvic vascularization can precede a major cardiac event, such as a myocardial infarction or stroke, within a time window of 3 to 5 years. In other words, what seems to be just frustration in bed or gynecological discomfort is actually a golden opportunity your body is offering you to treat your arteries before the blockage reaches the heart or brain. If blood doesn't arrive with enough pressure to create an erection or ensure lubrication, it's already encountering mechanical difficulties circulating freely throughout the rest of the system. Therefore, the practical and vital instruction here is to remove the shame and face the fact as a clinical health issue, not just a sexual one. If you notice this sudden or progressive change, don't just look for magic pills that temporarily force circulation and mask the real problem. Seek a complete cardiological and vascular checkup. Understand that restoring vascular health for your intimate life is simultaneously protecting your heart against sudden death. It's the direct and undeniable connection between quality of life today and survival tomorrow. And if this symptom is a medium-term warning sign, our last item, number 10, is the most specific, urgent, and dangerous symptom that the circulation in your legs is already in a critical state. Finally, we've reached the top of our list with number 10, the symptom that defines the thin line between physical independence and permanent disability: intermittent claudication. You may not know the medical name, but you can certainly recognize the sensation. It's that sharp pain, intense cramp, or extreme heaviness in your calf that arises whenever you walk a certain distance, like going to the bakery or climbing a hill. The crucial detail that differentiates this from common muscle or orthopedic pain is that as soon as you stop and rest for a few minutes, the pain disappears like magic. This fools many people who think, "Oh, it was just a bad strain, it's gone now, I'll continue." Don't be fooled. This characteristic of pain that starts with exertion and stops with rest is the classic signature of muscle ischemia, Shutterstock. What's happening here is a purely mechanical supply and demand problem. When you walk, your leg muscles require much more fuel, oxygenated blood, to function. If the artery is partially blocked by fatty plaques, it can supply the resting flow, but fails miserably under exertion. The muscle suffers acutely, accumulates acids, and screams in pain, what we call angina, forcing you to stop. The moment you stop, the blood demand drops, and the pain disappears. This is the equivalent of having a car engine that sputters and dies every time you try to accelerate on the highway. It's definitive proof that arterial flow is severely compromised and can no longer meet the basic movement demands of your daily life. The great danger of this symptom, and the trap into which most elderly people fall, is negative adaptation. To avoid pain, you unconsciously begin to walk less and less. You stop going to the corner store, you stop taking walks with your grandchild, you spend more time sitting on the sofa. This forced sedentary lifestyle further weakens the heart, atrophies the muscles, and drastically worsens circulation, creating a devastating vicious cycle that leads to wheelchairs and total dependence on caregivers. The solution is not to stop walking. The solution is to seek a vascular surgeon urgently to clear this path. Limping is the last warning before critical ischemia that can lead to non-healing wounds and amputations. Treating this now is the difference between maintaining your freedom of movement or losing it forever. Now that you have the complete map of these 10 vital signs, it's crucial that you understand the central message connecting them all. Your body never collapses without first sending a series of warning signs. Heart failure and poor circulation aren't sudden events that fall from the sky. They are the result of years of small cries for help that have been silenced by painkillers, ignored by routine, or justified by age. When you identify a swollen foot, a toenail that won't grow, or pain in your calf, you're not just seeing a local discomfort. You're seeing the tip of an iceberg that reveals the health of your central engine. Poor circulation is, in essence, the language your heart uses to say it's tired and needs mechanical help to keep beating for you and those you love. Having this knowledge now shouldn't generate panic, but rather a powerful sense of control and opportunity that most people don't have. Many of you watching me now may feel a chill in your stomach upon recognizing one or more of these symptoms, and the natural instinct is to fear going to the doctor and discovering something bad. I want you to reverse that logic right now. The something bad is already happening silently. The doctor is simply the partner who will help you interrupt this process. Early diagnosis is not a death sentence. It's exactly the opposite. It's the tool that restores your autonomy. Treating circulation, whether with medication, lifestyle changes, or vascular procedures, is the physiological equivalent of giving your heart a vacation. By unblocking arteries and facilitating venous return, you remove the excessive load from the heart pump, allowing it to work with lightness, efficiency, and longevity. You exchange the risk of a traumatic emergency for the security of active aging, where you decide where your feet can take you. Therefore, my final invitation to you is for immediate and conscious action. Don't close this video and go back to your routine as if nothing happened. Use today's information as a turning point. I want to know exactly how this content impacted you. Go to the comments now and tell me which of these 10 signs you have already noticed in your body or in someone in your family. Your story is important, and by sharing it, you help break the taboo that feeling pain or discomfort is normal in old age. If you identified intermittent claudication or persistent swelling, write, "I will take care of my circulation," as a public commitment to your health. Remember, information only has power when it generates movement. Schedule that appointment you've been putting off, look at your feet with care tonight, and take control of your biology. If this video clarified your doubts and raised a necessary red flag, your mission now is to be a health agent in the lives of those you love. Share this video in your family group with that friend who complains of leg pain, or with your partner. You could be saving a life by sending this link. And to ensure you continue receiving medical guidance translated into simple and direct language, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. We are building a community of people who have decided to age intelligently and vigorously, and I want you with us in the next video, where we will continue to unveil the secrets to a resilient longevity. Take care of your body, because it's the only place you have to live. A big hug, and see you next time. Legal notice and health disclaimer. The content presented in this video is purely educational and informative. The information contained herein is based on medical and scientific literature, but does not, under any circumstances, replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The symptoms described, such as edema, cyanosis, claudication, can have various causes and vary from person to person. Never discontinue the use of prescribed medications or start home treatments based solely on internet videos without validation from your cardiologist or vascular surgeon. If you experience severe symptoms such as chest pain, sudden shortness of breath, or loss of movement, seek emergency medical attention immediately. Responsibility for your health is non-transferable and should always be monitored by a qualified professional.